The Panos Skordi Encounter.
Hi, this is Panos here with Chelsea Adler to discuss her journey from university to fellow. Chelsea is a fellow of the Society of Actuaries and works for a startup company. Welcome, Chelsea.
Hey, thank you so much for having me.
So we're going to ask you a few questions, and hopefully they're going to be helpful to a lot of people that are in and around the actuarial field. So let's kick off by asking you, when did you decide you wanted to be an actuary?
Well, so I officially decided that I wanted to become an actuary after I did a job shadow with a few different actuaries. But I originally heard about the profession in a statistics book that I read as a sophomore in high school. And if you want to check out my blog, Inspiring Actuaries, I have a lot more about my story and how I first came to learn about the career.
Where can they find your blog?
Yeah, it is called inspiringactuaries.com. So if you just type that into your web browser, you should be able to find it.
Great. Thanks for that. What attracted you to the profession?
Yeah, so I grew up loving math for a lot of my life. And so what originally drew me to the career was being able to apply math and statistics, something I really enjoyed in a profession. I later came to find that one of the really unique aspects about the profession is this combination of individual analysis and kind of working on your own, paired with partnering with others to collaborate and work together to accomplish shared goals. And so I just love that I'm able to kind of have this individual analytical part of my job, but then also get to communicate and work with a lot of different people throughout the day.
Did your college career help you with your later professional career?
Absolutely. I would say from two different perspectives, actually. So for those who don't know, I was a synchronized swimmer for 15 years, and I competed all 4 years of my college career at Ohio State. And being a collegiate athlete really prepared me in a lot of ways for the professional journey that I've been on. There's just a lot of values and principles that you learn through that experience that translate really well into being an actuary. And then I also studied actuarial science in college. And while I certainly don't think you need to major in actuarial science to be an actuary, it certainly does help. And so I was really fortunate to have some amazing professors who helped prepare me to take some exams and kind of get started in my career.
Thanks for that. Did you have any internships while you were at college?
I did. Yes, I had 2 internships before I started working full time. My first was with Motorists, which is now in Coba, located here in Columbus, Ohio. I worked in their life insurance practice. And then before my senior year, I interned with Milliman up in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, which is a consulting firm, and I worked in their healthcare practice.
So when you left college or university, did you easily find a permanent job?
Yeah, I was really fortunate to be able to find a job pretty quickly. I finished up my internship with Milliman and did get extended an offer, but at the time I was getting close to potential engagement with my now husband. And so we were thinking about, living in the same location, and he decided to pursue a career with State Farm. And so I went over and interviewed with State Farm and was very fortunate to be offered a position there. So that's where I started full-time right out of college.
Right. So what challenges did you have to overcome from your journey from college, university student to fellow?
Yeah, I think there have been several ups and downs throughout my journey so far. And I actually shared this a little bit in your class, but I did struggle to pass a few of the actuarial exams. There was a year period of time where I didn't pass any exams, and failing 2 exams back to back was a really hard time for me. And so I think that was, one of several bumps in the road, but I'm really grateful now looking back on it. I feel like the Lord really taught me a lot about myself and what my priorities are through that experience. And hopefully now I can be an encouragement to others who are maybe struggling to get through exams, because you certainly don't need to pass everyone the first time to be successful in your career as an actuary.
Yeah, and that resonates with me too. I never went through the exams. I didn't pass them all first time. And when you did come in, as you mentioned, to speak to some of my students, they were very interested in what you had to say. You connected with them really well. So thank you for that again. So if you could change anything about your actuarial journey, what would it be?
You know, I honestly wouldn't change anything, because I truthfully believe that every challenge that I've faced has been an opportunity to learn and to grow as a person. And I also feel like it's been an opportunity to see the Lord at work in my life and how his grace is sufficient for where I lack. I've certainly been very fortunate to have a lot of really great people to look up to and mentors in my life that have poured into me and encouraged me in those really difficult times. But I wouldn't change any of it because it's made me the person who I am today.
Right. As a last question for today, what is the best advice you could give a student at university, or maybe even one who's working and taking exams? What advice would you give them on how to become a fellow?
Well, the journey to becoming a fellow certainly is a long and challenging one at times. And I think sacrifice is a necessary part of that journey. However, something that I learned along the way is it's so important to take the time to consider what your priorities are individually and to not sacrifice the non-negotiables when it comes to pursuing, whether that's career success or exam progression. You know, at the end of the day, you can do everything right to prepare for an actuarial exam and you can still not pass. And so you really need to take a critical look at what are the things in your life you're not willing to sacrifice if in the end you don't end up passing your exam. And so I just think it's really important to stay grounded in those priorities that you have in your life and to do your best every day at your job and in your studies, but knowing that, you know, in the end, exam success or failure doesn't define you, and you can have success in the career if you just persevere and keep going and keep the most important things first.
Yeah, that's really good advice. The exams definitely don't define you. And sometimes when we don't pass, we feel that they do. Chelsea, that's been great as usual. It's always a pleasure to have you either in the classroom or on a podcast now, and we'd love to do one with you later on.
Absolutely.
So thanks, Chelsea, for sharing your experiences from university student to fellow. Our students will find this information invaluable. Chelsea's contact details will be included in the description. This is your host, Panos Skordi, on the Panos Skordi Encounter. Take care wherever you are.